Hi everyone and welcome to Epilepsy Scotland's first ever podcast. I'm David Coates and I'm alongside one of our welfare rights officers, Tracey Millar. Today Tracey will be answering some of the most frequently asked questions that come through our Helpline Information service regarding the benefit system for people living with epilepsy. How are you, Tracey?
I'm good, thank you.
So let's get started. If someone has epilepsy, what benefits may they be entitled to?
A person with epilepsy could be entitled to some of the disability benefits, which could be disability living allowance if they're under 16, personal independence payment if they're between 16 and 65 years of age, and attendance allowance if they're over 65. Additionally, they could be entitled to employment and support allowance if they're unfit for work, job seekers allowance or universal credit. This is not an exhaustive list and depends upon the person's age, whether their epilepsy is controlled, whether they're in employment, and if there are other health conditions to take into consideration. More information on an individual's personal circumstances would really be needed in order for us to establish full benefit entitlement.
If someone applied for employment support allowance and has been put into work-related activity group, what does this mean?
When you are awarded employment support allowance, there are different qualifying groups, and the work-related activity group really means that it's the benefit office's belief that in the future you will be fit for work and they want to help you to prepare for that. So you would likely be required to attend what they call work-focused interviews, that's with an advisor at the job centre, or to attend a work programme as agreed by the Department for Work and Pensions, work coach with a view to preparing the person for future employment or returning to work. And that is really essential, that if people are asked to attend a work focused interview or attend a work programme, if they don't do that, they are at risk of having their benefits sanctioned.
If someone had a lifetime award of disability living allowance, but has been told that it needs to be reassessed for personal independence payment, I thought lifetime, a lot of people would say that if lifetime means lifetime. What can they do?
Okay. Unfortunately, there are no longer lifetime awards, and because the personal independence payment is now replacing disability living allowance, and it's a matter of time before everybody over 16 will transfer or be migrated onto personal independence payment, they would need to claim the personal independence payment within the time scale that's in the letter advising them that their DLA will end otherwise. It's unfortunate. While people start that claim for personal independence payment, the disability living allowance will continue to run until a decision is made on the personal independence payment. But if they don't make the personal independence claim within that time scale, which I think is usually about 4 weeks, their disability living allowance will end. So they can't decide not to claim personal independence payment and allow the disability living allowance to run. It's not an option, sadly.
Right. If someone was turned down for personal independence payment, what can they do?
With most benefit decisions, the person would have the right to challenge the decision, and in the first instance that is by submitting a mandatory reconsideration request directly to the Department for Work and Pensions for that particular benefit. If the decision remains unchanged, they then have a right to lodge an appeal, and they do that by submitting their letter of appeal to the tribunal service. Both the decisions should be challenged within 1 month, although a late request can be lodged if you can show good reason.
If someone's epilepsy is uncontrolled and they can't work, but have been told by the Department for Work and Pensions that they are fit for work, what do they do now?
Similar to the personal independence payment, the person would have a right to challenge the decision within the 1 month. They may also be able to submit a new claim if there has been a substantial deterioration in an existing condition or a new condition has been diagnosed. We would strongly recommend people seek advice in both personal independence payment, employment support allowance, any decision that people are looking to challenge. We would strongly recommend they seek advice, because agencies like Epilepsy Scotland and advice agencies have access to the criteria, and they can go over that with people and check whether they should meet the criteria. Although these agencies and ourselves are not decision makers, we can look at the criteria and see whether the person would meet it, because unfortunately a lot of people do fail the assessment even though they meet the criteria. So we would recommend getting support there.
Yeah.
And you can also provide further evidence if necessary to support your mandatory reconsideration or your appeal.
If someone's had to give up work to look after their son or daughter who has severe epilepsy, but I've been told that I don't qualify for carers allowance, is this correct?
In this situation, we would need to speak to the person and find out if their son is in receipt of a qualifying benefit. And the qualifying benefit, for example, would be disability living allowance at the middle or high rate care, or personal independence payment with a daily living component. So you can see that things really do depend on a person's circumstances. We would also have to look at the person's income. Although they're saying that they've had to give up work, it may be that they've got other income coming into the household through a pension or that. So we would need to look at their individual circumstances in order that we could find out if they qualify for carers allowance.
Is there any help with completing employment and support allowance application form?
Yes, we here at Epilepsy Scotland can help to complete employment and support allowance application forms and also other forms, and this assistance can be provided at our Glasgow or Edinburgh offices, or in certain circumstances by home visit. We can also help to find or refer people to a local agency who might be able to assist, and we can also provide further information to that agency regarding epilepsy in order that they might get a better understanding for completing a person's claim forms.
Can someone with epilepsy get a blue badge?
Yes, indeed. If a person is in receipt of disability living allowance, the high rate mobility, or personal independence payment, enhanced rate mobility, they would meet the automatic criteria to be issued a blue badge. Otherwise, they can apply for a blue badge under the discretionary rules if they've got restricted mobility and meet certain conditions.
If someone gets personal independence payment, can I volunteer, or will this affect their benefit?
I think that a lot of people who have had long-term health conditions are very keen to try and get back into work, and therefore volunteering is a good way for them to do that, and I can understand why people would want to do so. It depends on the individual circumstances and would take into account the type of volunteering work and the hours they intend to carry that out over. We would always advise anyone to get advice before committing to any volunteering, because it could affect their benefits potentially.
If someone's missed an appointment at the job centre because they had a seizure in the morning and have now been sanctioned, what can they do?
As I'd said earlier, the kind of standard procedure for people is to challenge a benefit, and in the first instance they would need to do that by lodging a mandatory reconsideration request within the 1 month time limit. And as I've said, you can submit it late if you can show good reason. You may also be able to apply for a hardship payment or submit a rapid reclaim, but it is advisable when people are speaking to their work coach, when they're starting to lodge a claim for benefit, that they ask the work coach to record in the claimant commitment that you're at risk of seizures, and that this could have an impact on your ability to attend appointments at time, because then they already have that information in the file, which can be helpful. You should inform the Department for Work and Pensions of what happened, if you have been unable to attend any appointments, and it can be helpful to provide evidence to them where possible. And this should really be done within 5 days. If they agree that you've shown good reason for your failure to attend, a sanction shouldn't be applied.
If someone's been told that they have to attend an appeal, which they find really stressful, and stress is obviously one of the big seizure triggers, what can they do?
Okay, I can understand that, for a lot of people stress would lead to an increase in seizures. In exceptional circumstances, the Tribunal Service can carry out domiciliary hearings at home. However, medical evidence would be required to show that this is necessary. A paper hearing can also be carried out without attending in person, but the success rate is genuinely increased if a person can attend the hearing, as it provides them with the opportunity to advise the tribunal of the impact their conditions have on them. People can be accompanied by a family member or a friend to the tribunal, and the Tribunal Service can provide transport in certain circumstances. We would always recommend having a representative where possible, as they can help you to prepare for the hearing and hopefully alleviate some of the stress and anxieties that are involved in that run up to the hearing. And many local agencies can provide representation.
What is a mandatory reconsideration?
A mandatory reconsideration basically is a written or verbal, you can telephone, request to the Department for Work and Pensions, informing them that you disagree with their initial benefit decision. That's the first step to when they've issued a decision that you disagree with. It allows you to provide the reasons that you disagree and possibly provide them with further information or evidence, for example a letter of support from a medical practitioner or an organisation who you're attending for support. This helps them to review your decision, and it can sometimes result in the original decision being changed in your favour. As before, the request should be submitted in 1 month of the decision date. However, it can be lodged late if you can show good reason.
Finally, can you apply for personal independence payment even if you're working?
Yes, if you meet the qualifying criteria. Personal independence payment is a benefit paid to people who have additional costs that are associated with a disability or long-term condition, and is to try and enable them to live as independently as possible. So that could obviously help with the cost of taxi, heating, some home care, etc., whether you are in or out of work, and is paid regardless of any other income or savings that a person may well have.
That's fantastic. Many thanks for joining us, Tracey. We'll be doing more podcasts throughout the year throughout our different departments, so watch our social media channels for more information. Hope you found this very useful, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you.